Hi, I'm Sean Dye, and welcome to this free art lesson. Today we're going to be doing backlit figures at night, and we're going to be using the materials from my Real Art Academy starter set. And if you want to learn about what's in that set and how I set up my table here with all the materials, you can look at that video. And to learn, see something a little bit longer, you can watch the DVD, Loose Figures and Crowd Scenes. So we're going to get started here. And I have a reference here from Las Vegas, and I took this picture at night, and I've got some figures here, 3 figures that are my central figures, and they're surrounded by a lot of light and activity, and a few little figures way in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sketch it out quickly using India ink. I have 2 brushes I'm going to use. I have a wider 1/2-inch brush and a round brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do mostly straight ink for sketching, and then I'm going to switch to a little bit of washy stuff. I'm using the paper from the pad in the kit. This is the Canson pastel paper, and I'm using the rough side. You'll notice there's a smooth side and a rough side. And for pastel, I prefer the rough side. So what I'm going to do is just sort of take the basic shapes in my composition, and I'm sketching with my skinny brush here. If I make a mistake, I can just cover it with pastel. So I'm not too worried about being too specific, but what I want to do is I want to have these figures be kind of dark, and I want to show their shadows coming toward the viewer. And when I sketch figures, I try to get the basic shape of the body first. So this person has their back to us. And then this one is more of a profile side view. You can really see the curve of the spine there. So I'm actually going to draw the spine in first. I want to try to get the gesture of that person's movements. And then I have a third figure here, which is kind of, that figure is sort of looking away from us. See the shoulders. They each have a different position in their feet, which kind of makes it interesting. I was on a trip here recently, and I took lots of pictures. There's a lot of fun people watching in Las Vegas. So those are my three main people. And then I have the little people in the background. I'll move this line up a little bit. So I'll put these people here. I'm just going to divide up the space a little bit with the buildings in the background. So it's a nighttime scene, so it's quite dark. I'm going to switch to my fatter brush here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some of the wider dark areas. We've got a big dark patch up here. And they are making some nice kind of shadows here, these long shadows, because all that light in the background. And these little figures back here also have some shadows. Now it's mostly a cool scene, so I'm going to actually mimic the colors in my scene here. When I get to the pastel, I chose this paper because it's quite dark, and it seems like a really good paper for a nighttime scene. Little drip there. Some paper towels here just to catch that. to wet my brush just a little bit so I can kind of wash that in there. And a little more gray. So I'm thinning my ink down with a little bit of water here. And now I'm ready for color. So I'm going to grab my pastels, get them a little bit closer to me. And one of the really dominant colors that I see is this blue, this big area of blue here. And so I'm going to start with that. And there's a little bit of warmer blue, so I'll grab my slightly warmer blue, still in the same range, and lots of violet, right, especially through the middle. So I'm going to take I'm going to break this pastel, so I have a smaller chunk of material here. Like I said, it's mostly cool colors. So my lightest area is here, the lights of the city that's sort of in the background there. And I do have kind of a fiery area in the middle with the red, so I'm going to put the red in. And what I'm trying to do is keep it simple. I'm not going to try to get every little detail in this scene. I want a quick impression of the scene. I need a little bit more of that purple between these figures. You'll notice I haven't touched the figures yet. I haven't put any color on them yet. I'm going to. A little bit of light across that railing there. A little more light coming between them. We can put a light behind these people back here. I'd like to have that area right here be a little darker. So I'm just go back to my ink. And I can use my black pastel and I'll define these figures just a little bit. Well, this one's getting a little light across his back, so we'll put a little bit of light there, maybe a little bit of this. And just a little bit of light on their faces, just a touch, not much. And I'm going to end there. So hopefully we can see an impression of these figures with a kind of a light background. There's lots of movements, pretty simple. And if you want to see more of my free art lessons, you can go to jerrysartorama.com. If you want to see the full video of loose figures and crowd scenes, you can also find out about it at jerrysartorama.com, and you can go to my website at seandyestudio.com to see more paintings. Thank you.